I had requests to do some more in-depth hands, and that's what I'm doing. And these ones were pretty interesting. They happened both in the same session. Man, I enjoyed them. They results oriented. I fucking won, so that was nice. I wouldn't recommend anybody following my footsteps. Probably more. I feel lucky for winning them. I'll tell you that much. Well, let's get into these bad boys, huh? All right, I got some bluffs through. People do fold online. I want to go through this hand with you guys at the same time. We're going to see this hand together. I don't know what the villain has, and I haven't reviewed it yet. I remember thinking I got lucky that this guy folded, and I was just kind of hoping. Let's see how this thing goes. I'm in the big blind with ace-8 of spades. We have the villain and the cutoff raising, staying 3x. I don't know how many suited aces I'm supposed to be raising here. Probably like ace-9 and up, I would guess. I think all suited aces can flat here. And you get into the broadways, you probably want 3 bets. Like ace-10, probably 3 bets. Ace-9 probably does. Ace-8, I don't know, probably doesn't. So I think a call. I probably call. Yep, I probably call. I did call. That was a call. I called. 7-6-3 rainbow. We get 1 spade. Being in the small blind, this board favors us as the out of position caller. In position, Razor's gonna have, you can have mostly broadways, some suited connectors, but they're gonna be a little bit higher. So you can flop 2 pairs, maybe 7-6s as sets, all over pairs, all broadways as overs. And for us, we have all of these as sets, 2 pairs for 7-6, and then some straights that we could call with like a 5-4. So I check. I don't think I have any leads. I don't think I play any leads ever, unless I'm trying to fuck with somebody, I guess. And he has a half pop bet. I don't know what to think about that. Mergy in the middle, more on the value side, I guess. So with my hand, since this board hits us and we have some back doors, we're also like 180 effective to begin the hand, and he has a lot of air over the top, and we have a stronger range advantage. Probably not by much though. Check raise is fine, is what I think is what I do. We sort of block like his 8-9s that have draws. We have our spades for a black door. We could, depending on what the turn comes, we can continue to go polar and just make our bluff tougher to call. Put a lot of pressure on his overpairs and weak draw or draws of any kind. Hoping for just a straight up fold though, but he does not. Also, if we want to polarize more and try to get our stacks in by the river, I think a larger raise would have been better. Probably 4x instead of 3x or 5x maybe. 10 of spades on the turn is help for us. So now 8-9 gets there and we have an 8. So it blocks him having 8-9 a little bit for some of his combos. Like he would have 8-9 of clubs and he would have 8-9 of diamonds. He shouldn't really have 8-9 offsuit. But we have the spade, so we can definitely try to rep it. It also gives us outs to flushes. We can continue our aggression and keep polarizing, hoping for some folds. Let's see, what do we bet? 16. We could probably go bigger again. Maybe this is something that I need to change. I don't like to overinvest in my bluffs. I like my bluffs to be as cheap as possible. Try to get the best value from them, I guess. But that could probably be a tell if I go bigger with my value and smaller with my bluffs. It's probably not a good thing. I want them to all be, similar sizing. Value to be bigger, bluffs to be bigger, just to get the stacks in. If that's the story I'm telling, I gotta stick to it, So he flats the 16, so he flats twice. There's no real draws for broadways, right? So he's calling with slow playing a set of 7s, maybe, or 6s, maybe. It's kind of a wet turn, or more wet. You would think that his bigger value and the aggression that I'm showing, he would want to raise more nutted type of hands, the strongest of his hands. I don't feel like he has any suited aces, or king queen suited of any kind. They're just floating on the turn, so that kind of leaves overpairs. Feels like overpairs are probably what he really has. It's basically a brick on the river. If I had 5-4, it was already like I was already there. Now I remember feeling very lucky. I was like, oh shit, that's a brick. Like it doesn't help me at all. But I can't win right now, and I just need to hope, like, tell my story of like I flopped a straight or a set on the flop, or maybe turned a straight. I remember being like, fuck, I got to bet here and go big, and just like crossing my fingers. What did I bet? 40 into 50, so it's almost a pot bet size bet. So I probably should have bet bigger again, but again, I don't want to get called and just burn up chips. So I picked the smallest size bet that I thought would get the job done. It puts a lot of pressure, like 3 streets, all 2/3, 3/4 to pot size, especially on the river here when there's like what could I really have that I'd be bluffing with? I don't know. This is why I was like very crossing my fingers, and he ends up making the fold. All right, drum roll. Let's see what he had. What do you got? What do we think? What do we think? Holy shit. Oh my god, I can't believe I made somebody fold kings on this board. I was telling the story that I fucking flopped some big shit, and the turn helped, fortify it, and then with a blank on the river and then a large bet, it's just running my bluff all the way through and committing to it, and getting lucky that the guy folded. Shit. Fuck. It was a good fucking thing we got through. I would have been fucked in the old pooper. Can't believe it made. Okay, there we go. That's one. Alright, this one I'm especially proud of. This was the first bluff that I ran, and this one I feel is a little bit better of a bluff, at least from how I was thinking about it going through the hands. I do know what the villain has in this one. I've already checked it out. I was super excited to come and come and look at this one, so I did that already. Villain in the cutoff raises 3x. Eights in the small blind. I think eights is probably sevens is probably the smallest pocket pair that I 3-bet with in the small blind. I think I'm supposed to do it like half the time or something. I don't know. And I make it a little bit larger, being out of position. With 100 big blinds effective, I feel like the sizing's fine to get 100 big blinds in. I haven't crunched the numbers, don't know exactly what it is. Villain calls, and 5-3-9. Man, I feel like I don't know, this might be like more of a neutral board. Is this better in his range? Maybe I feel like I still have range advantage. I feel like this board's better for me than it is for him. What? He's capped. I'm uncapped. So he would have sets of 9s. He might have 5s maybe. No 3s. He doesn't have any 2-pair. He has like overcards, some draws, flush draws, and then pairs from 6s through 10s. I think 10s would probably 3-bet. Not jacks and up would 3-bet. And like he doesn't have ace king suited. He probably doesn't have king queen suited. So he probably has offsuits of those combos. So I think, yeah, like we go with a small bet to keep his range wide, to have him call with overcards and hopefully float us to gain value from there. So I guess this may be more mergy, I suppose. We're fine if he folds those hands. And we don't want to bloat the pot being out of position. We're at such a disadvantage. I don't want to do anything crazy of going polar. He can just call us down or blow us off our hand. Small bet here of quarter size pot to get value from all of my hands that I rep, as well as keep him wide with all of his hands. And he continues. A deuce on the turn is pretty much a blank. Like maybe he could have backdoor suited aces. Yeah, backdoor suited ace 4 would be kind of, not very lucky for us. I feel like it doesn't really, improve his range at all, though, or help him very much. It doesn't really help us very much either. We still have. I feel like our range still has the advantage. I believe it would. And for all the same reasons we bet small on the flop, I think continuing to the turn with a small bet is beneficial for us. He should fold out most everything as far as overcards go, and except for draws. I was like flush draws, so we bet a third pot, keeping us wide and him wide as well. Trying to milk value from overcards and flush draws. He flats. Any draws that he would have that would have overcard draws, I feel like should be raising and being more aggressive. Him just flatting with my continued like weaker aggression feels like he wants to get to the river as a showdown. So he could still potentially have flush draws or overpairs. So what, like tens? And from a 3-bet, maybe jacks. An ace on the river. So this is where I think I get creative. I think I get clever. I think I have a spark of inspiration and I turn my hand into a bluff. I don't feel that I'm good and I'm going to win. I feel like the draws would have been more aggressive to try and get their chips in. I feel like overpairs would want to see the river, and I don't think I'm going to be able to win with eights here. Whatever I'm beating will not call me if I bet small. If I bet large, I can gain value. I can increase my EV by making better hands fold. So the weaker hands will fold to any bet. Better hands will fold to a polarized bet. That's what I want to do. I don't think I go big enough on this. I only bet, what is that? 2/3 pot. Again, I try to get the most out of my bluffs, the most value out of my bluffs. Go with the smallest size possible to get it through. This also like has a bit of an advantage of like I want to be called. Like I'm giving him pretty decent odds to call me. So it's like a fearless bet. Like, I want you to call. I'm not trying to like blow you out of the pot. The reason I think the ace of hearts is a good card for us to turn our hand into a bluff with is we have a lot of aces in our range that could be bluffing, like semi-bluffing, I guess, with a 3-bet. So we would have ace king of diamonds, ace queen of diamonds, maybe even ace jack of diamonds. This ace could be scary to a lot of overpairs that wouldn't 3-bet us. So all the jacks, all the tens, jacks, a lot of things get there on this river. Any flushes that I had from like king queen of hearts that I could 3-bet gets there. Yeah, if I went wild and crazy with the pocket fours, I would get there. One thing that I feel like I've noticed in these games is that people don't bluff enough on the river. Because of that, I think a lot of people overfold on the river to continued aggression through 3 streets of trying to get 3 streets of value. So in any situation that I feel like I could tell a 3-street value story, and I might be wrong on this, I feel like villains will have a tendency to fold, and probably to the player pool fold correctly, and that's where a lot of my bluffs are coming from, and my reasons for playing a more, I guess, exploitative. My pocket eights also have they unblock a lot of the hands, right, that I would want my opponent to have too, with some of the overpairs like tens and jacks. So I guess I've narrowed his range down to that, overpairs of tens, jacks, and no ace. That's pretty fucking narrow. This might be more ambitious of a bluff than I realize. But our opponent does make the fold. Lucky for us. And he has queens. Made him fold queens. You'd think that he would 4-bet queens. And he probably should have. I would have. But, I'm also trying to get somebody to fold queens, red queens. If he had a heart, maybe he would probably call me. I don't know. It worked out for us. Lucky for us, it worked out. So these 2 hands gave me a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence in getting lucky more than anything. And I enjoyed the thought process and breaking it down and having the gumption to pull the trigger at the end, and I'm glad that it worked out. Don't try this at home. I'm not guaranteeing any kind of results. But to all you red line warriors out there, fuck man, hopefully this is some inspiration for you. All right, till next time, Jack and a penny.